What would you rather have? Nuclear power or renewable energy? Or maybe we can have them both and just get rid of the fossil fuels. I worked 3 years in a nuclear power plant. This means that I do know something about the subject, and it also means that I'm not really concerned about the safety of a nuclear power plant. If I would be, I would have moved further from a nuclear power plant. Currently, I live in Budapest, just 100 kilometers away from the Paks nuclear power plant, and in a worst-case scenario, the contamination radius could be 300 kilometers. So I don't want to speak about the safety issues of a nuclear power plant. I want to speak about three other subjects: costs, long construction time, and risk related to building a new nuclear power plant. Now, I will start with the cost because I consider this to be the most important topic. Currently, it costs 6 times more to build a nuclear power plant than solar. Now, yes, I know the sun doesn't shine all the time, and that's why the average annual efficiency for a solar power plant in Europe is around 14%. Compare that to a nuclear power plant, which is between 70 and 80%. But still, 6 times more than solar, 12 times more than a gas turbine. Currently, if you build a gas turbine and you also buy the fuel for the next 30 years, it's still cheaper than a nuclear power plant. But let's look at this from a different perspective. Currently, it costs 10 times more to build a nuclear power plant than what it's worth. How do I know that? There is a nuclear power plant in Romania that is listed on the Romanian Stock Exchange. It has 4 units. Unit 1 and 2 was built. They started the construction for the 4 units in the early 80s. They finished Unit 1 in 96. They finished Unit 2 in 2005, and they haven't finished Unit 3 and 4 yet. We know that the value of the Unit 1 and 2 is 600 million euros because it's listed on the stock exchange. And we also know that to finish Unit 3 and 4, it would cost about 6 billion euros. Now, okay, this is Romania, Eastern Europe, who cares about them? Let's take a better example, somewhere more civilized, for example, Finland. They started to build a nuclear power plant in 2005, and the initial plan was to finish it by 2010 for 3 billion euros. Now the current plan is to finish it by 2018 for 8.5 billion euros. Now this brings me to my next subject. So in Finland they started to build a nuclear power plant in 2005, and if everything goes right, it will be finished in 2018. In Romania, they started to build 4 units in the early 80s. They finished one in 96, they finished the other one in 2005, and Unit 3 and 4 are not finished yet. If we want a functional nuclear power plant in 2025, then we need to start the construction right now. If we want to have solar power or a combined cycle gas turbine, then we need to start the construction only in 2023. And I can assure you, in 2023, solar will be much cheaper than it is now. Now, have I talked about Unit 5? No, I forgot that, sorry. So in Romania, they also started to build Unit 5, but we know that Unit 5 will not be finished. So we don't know if Unit 3 and 4 will be finished or not, but we are sure that Unit 5 will be not finished. Now this brings me to my next topic, that there is a really high risk that we start to build a nuclear power plant, but we never finish it. And you could say this is a great example, but I have an even better one. If you like museums and you have a free weekend, you could go to Zwettendorf. They have a really exquisite museum. They started to build a nuclear power plant, they finished it, and after that they had a referendum and they decided never to use nuclear power ever again. So now they have a really expensive museum. Now if you don't like museums and like amusement parks instead, then you should go to Düsseldorf. They have a really nice amusement park inside a nuclear power plant for the same reason. Now, these are my main concerns when it comes to a new nuclear power plant, but there are some other issues as well. If you build a nuclear power plant, which is really expensive, you want to run that at nominal power all the time. That's why it's not really compatible with renewable. If you have renewable energy and the sun does not shine and the wind does not blow, then you need a gas turbine power plant which can be fired up really fast and can produce electricity when the wind is not blowing and the sun is not shining. And it's cheap to build. If you build a nuclear power plant, you want to run that at nominal power all the time. And there is one more problem: spent fuel storage. It was really hard to find this information, but it seems that it takes like 400 years for the spent fuel to decay to a level that if you go near it, you don't get a deadly dose of radiation in a few minutes. Now, I don't know who made the computation. How much will it cost to store spent fuel for 400 years? Do you know what the current answer is? We have temporary storage for 60 years. And after that, we'll see. Now, these are my main concerns. If you add up the really high construction cost of a nuclear power plant, you also add to that the storage cost of the spent fuel for hundreds of years and the high decommissioning cost of a nuclear power plant, then it becomes much more expensive than any other energy source. It also takes at least 10 years to build, and there is a really high risk that you build it and you'll never use it, or you start to build it, you never finish it, and you never use it. So these are the main reasons that I would not start to build a nuclear power plant in 2015. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Also, please share with your friends and leave some comments below. I would really appreciate some feedback. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.